England and Wales, folks, play out a bit of an arm wrestle game. Six Nations, week number 2, game number 2, and it's 16-14. Another week where England, maybe a little bit lackluster in the first half, but still manage to come back from behind. Wales in a bit of a reversal from last week. They actually had a decent lead, but let it slip in that second half. We'll go through some of the key events, stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on the game. Pretty raucous Twickenham crowd, which was pleasing to see. There's always that kind of bit of tension in the air when it's England against Wales. But it was all England early. Like the 10-minute mark, the territory stats were literally 90+% England. Like Wales had not escaped their first half. But what did England have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. They had a whole bunch of territory. Freddie Stewart had a big line break early, pretty much fell over his own feet. The England little dinkin kicks through, kept Wales pinned back, but they couldn't land any kind of killer blow. There was a TMO stoppage eventually to look at an Ollie Chessum hit on one of the Welsh players. I forget who it was at this point. Sun was only just coming up here in NZ, but they took bloody ages to get the footage, to the point where the TMO was just like, just go for a penalty and play on. And, no, we got the footage. And they review it, and Ollie Chessum gets yellow carded. So Wales with a man up. Finally, they can escape their own half. What can they do? Well, Ioan Lloyd, eventually, after Wales win a scrum penalty, puts the Welsh pack with a great attacking opportunity 5 metres out from the English line. What a touch finder. And they go for the maul against 14 men, and boomfa, wouldn't you know it, it is a penalty try. Ethan Roots gets yellow carded himself. 7 points to 0 Wales. So after being under the pump, England have been hit up with 2 yellow cards, and they're 7 points down. So what's Wales going to do with 2 extra men? Well, bugger all. They try to play a bit of ambitious ball from their own 22. Ioan Lloyd looks up, sees a bloody on-rushing Maro Itoje coming at him. And, can't do anything about it. So he gets turned over in his own half. Trying to punish the 13-man England side, get punished themselves, because England with a scrum with Tommy Freeman on the bloody flank, the winger. He's not the biggest dude, but scrum goes good. Ben Earl picks off the back of that scrum, busts through about 4 Welsh tacklers, and it's try time. So England on the board should be 7-all. I don't know how Ben Earl scored the try, by the way. It's unbelievable how he manages to bust through those tackles. He is having quite a 12-month period for England anyway. At number 8, he's been devastating form. But then the conversion gets charged down where George Ford takes 1 step to the left after he's seemingly already set. So the Welsh guy's on rush. And he says, I hadn't started my run-up. I think there'll be a little bit of a controversy about that one. Luckily for England, it didn't matter in the end. But yeah, that was a sure 2 points on top that got denied because he took apparently an extra little step. So, I don't know. He probably should have just kicked the thing over. I know he was trying to run down the clock, but that's not the kind of kick that you need to take the extra step. Just pop the thing over. Anyway, 7 points to 5. England, awesome to hit back when you've got 13 men on the field. That should have been the period where Wales are punishing. But nope. It gets back to 15 on 15. So Wales are going back against that English brick wall. 25 phases at England's half. Literally going nowhere. Credit to England's defence for that one. But eventually Wales did get their second try. Alex Mann gets his second try in 2 weeks, which is a pretty bloody good return for a guy who's literally only playing his second test match. Tommy Reffel, who's been having a great couple of weeks as well, similar to Ben Earl. Carey pops the ball to Thomas Williams to Mann, and 14-5 at half-time. So Wales, despite being under the pump in that opening kind of 10 minutes, did pretty well. I mean, they finished with 68% possession. They had less territory, but, 19 defenders beaten to 8, 165 run meters to 114. So barring the fact that they couldn't capitalise on the 2-man advantage, I think they'll be pretty happy with the first half. But not getting any points and actually conceding 5 during the 2 yellow card period is pretty devastating in the scheme of things. Second half, England started sharp again. Elliot Daly went bloody close to the corner. Winnett and Josh Adams with a nice wee bit of covering defence. But then Nick Tompkins on like 47 minutes just gives away a really soft penalty for advancing in front of a kicker. So, yeah, soft penalty to be conceding. Anytime you see that one given, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a coach's nightmare. So that makes it 8 points to 14. England kind of back within that striking distance. Wales did go close. I mean, they had a wide ball to Winnett, Adams, Dyer. England's defence also held really well, forced the Welsh knock on. But then England really get on top in the second half. The scrum, I feel like, is... Do you give it the winning of the game? The scrum certainly gets them some field position. Wins a couple of penalties. They go 5 metres out. They maul it. Mitchell snipes. Genge goes close. Tompkins is able to stop him. But then on the 10th phase, they finally spin the ball wide enough. Dingwall is able to go over in the corner. Ford and Daly with the hands. Missed conversion from the sideline, but now it's a 1-point game. 14 points to 13. I feel like England are winning the game from there. That's just what my gut was telling me. 70 minutes. It's even more so because George Ford kicks a great 50-22 after Freddie Steward's taken a nice high ball. He was very secure at the back. My note just says England to go in front soon. Sure enough, I mean, Wales, it's a tough one. Get pinged for a deliberate knock-on. Deliberate knock-ons are a bit of a contentious one in rugby, the way they are ruled. But basically, if you stick one hand out to intercept a ball and you don't get it, you're putting yourself at the mercy of the refs. And Mason Grady can't gather it. Just able to kind of get in the way of a George Ford pass. So it's a yellow card for him. Jamie George wanted a penalty try, but nothing doing. The officials say there was covering defence there. But yeah, yellow card, it's a penalty. So 16-14. That's the final scoring. So yeah, a couple of penalties that Wales conceded will be pretty hard to look back on in the review. Then the line-out starts to go awry. Elias has a few issues there again. They did get a free kick at scrum time, which made a nice change because they had been getting pinged. But they had to chase the game. Wales, heap of phases. They had to resort to a kick. Freddie Steward's just so secure at the back, nothing doing. Final play of the game sees Wales, from their own 22. They've been doing a lot of cross kicks, and they did another one to Rio Dyer, which was kind of like a Hail Mary. And he does get kind of knocked into touch by George Ford and while Dyer was in the air. But the officials say that one was fine. Not that I think Wales would go on length of the field to score, but it means it's an English line-out, which they secure and then kick it out. So, I mean, Wales won't be happy with the way that ended. But ultimately, yeah, Wales had a decent enough lead, but couldn't hang on to it, England, it's another comeback. So, yeah. Run meters finished 272 to 245 in England's favour. England had only 40% of the possession, though, but they still controlled the territory well with 63%, including 70% in the second half. Stuart had 92 metres, 3 defenders beaten, and a clean break. I mean, England had 5 clean breaks to 4 overall, so Stewart gets one of them. Earl beats 4 defenders. He gets man of the match, makes 8 from 10 tackles. Underhill's a tackling machine, 13 from 15 for him. George has 13 from 14. So some big defensive shift, which kept the Welsh attack looking blunt at times. They get one try through a maul and then one that's a really well worked on through man. But ultimately, it was kind of really hard to get those X-factor moments. Kicking is pretty high, 30 kicks from England, 31 from Wales. But remember, Wales not necessarily always kicking for distance. A lot of the times kicking sideways. To try and find that bit of extra space. Didn't always work out. Penalties conceded is pretty low, 7-5. England with a couple more. Reffel for Wales, another great shift from him, 14 from 15. Josh Adams beats 5 defenders, but yeah, not enough for the Welsh boys. So none from 2 for them. But I still think encouraging signs given the age of the squad. I think England, I don't think they've hit their full potential yet, I still think they can be better. They've been not convincing in their first 2 games. But hey, if you're 2 wins from 2 games playing not convincing rugby, what can you do when you play some convincing rugby? We'll kind of have to wait and see. England are away to Scotland next, which will be an interesting test because Scotland will ultimately be very fired up for that one. And Wales away to Ireland. Yeah, that could be a real shock to the system, but we'll have to kind of wait and see because we've still got a fallow week between now and then. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. England, How do you rate them? Do you still think, are they a contender for this one? Because remember, they got Ireland at home later in the championship. If they can get a win at Murrayfield, could be a very tasty one. And Wales, do you agree there's a bit of a potential for them to take another step up there, or are you worried about the way they couldn't convert on what was a pretty decent lead? Hard to come by for them at Twickenham. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. I'm off to have a wee nap. Take care. Talk to you again soon. Ta-ra.